If you have ever used the validation tools in the Web Developer Toolbar available for Chrome and Firefox, then validating local resources should make perfect sense. The idea of validation is simple. It is to ensure that your HTML markup and CSS rules are written to the current standards as established by the W3C and tested by the HTML and CSS validator tools. Using the Web Developer Toolbar by Chris Pederick is simple. For pages that are hosted and available on the Internet, simply navigate to the page. Once there, click the Web Developer tool, then choose the Tools tab. Then click either the Validate HTML or Validate CSS tool, depending upon which code is being checked. However, when developing locally, these options will not work because the URL of the page is not available on the Internet. This same process can also be used to validate pages that are behind a login. Instead of using the previous options, choose Validate Local HTML or Validate Local CSS. These options accomplish the same task, except that the tool copies the HTML markup or CSS rule set and sends the code to the validator service. The code is then checked and a validation report is returned in a new tab of the browser. In this example, I will demonstrate the validation of a simple page that is being hosted on my local machine in a XAMPP development environment. I have intentionally placed both HTML and CSS errors into the markup to illustrate the validation report, the error reports within the validation report, and how to interpret and correct the errors. We will begin by validating the local HTML. In this case, the two errors are reported: a missing alt attribute on an image element and the use of presentational, also known as stylistic, markup instead of CSS. The correction of these errors is simple. First, add an alt attribute to the image element, and second, remove the width attribute and its value from the markup. Save the document. Return to the browser, reload the web page to get the updated code, and then run the local validation option again. This time the report should indicate that all markup is valid HTML5. Closing the validation report and returning to the web page, this time select the Validate Local CSS option. As with the HTML, the CSS has been copied and sent to the validation service. A single error is reported. The error reports that a semicolon is missing and the error shows line 178. In reality, the error is on line 177 where the semicolon was left out. Add the semicolon to the end of the statement and save the file. Return to the browser, close the Validation Report tab, and return to the web page. Once again, reload the page to get the updated code. Validate the local CSS. This time, the validation report should return that all CSS is valid to the CSS Level 3 standard. Using the validation options in the Web Developer Toolbar makes validating code for accuracy quick and easy. I highly recommend it.